So, hi everyone on this special webinar today with Dr Gabriela Droga. She's going to introduce herself in a short minute. We are going to record this session so that those who are not able to join us right now, that they can pick it up on YouTube later on. Anyone who objects that we are going to record it? No? So it is being recorded, and Gabriela, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ingun. It's a pleasure being with you. It's a pleasure to talk with you, and I have seen some of your webinars. I was very thrilled about it. It's so nice that this group just stays together and shares information and supports each other in this way. It's beautiful. Maybe this was the hint for me to just present a bit of what I do. And I call this very short webinar Wellbeing and Stress Management in Times of Challenge. It's an overview as a whole for us to protect ourselves, for us to be conscious and aware in our lives. And I think this is maybe one of those times in history that this is so, when this is so important. So this pandemic, as it is now, it is somehow a bit different than other pandemics in history, because the access to cleaning products and disinfectants is very big. So we can more easily control the spreading. Of course, quarantines are essential, and that is why, at least in Europe, we are, and it was in China the case, people were making quarantines, and it showed in China to be very helpful. Another thing to take into account is that we are in an era of science. And in the moment, for those most in need, there are already 35 drugs in trial to help people that really will need help to sustain their immune systems. I think this is very important. We have to be conscious of what we have available so that we logically think how stressed we must be with the actual information we are listening every day. So maybe this is very important to consider that we are today in a time of great scientific achievements, in a time that when we can reflect, because we have the time and the situation affordable for it. It's a time to quarantine, and it's also a time to be together, because we quarantine to protect the most in need, the most susceptible in our society. But by being together as we are now, we can maybe achieve more. I will go very briefly through the etiology of infections and its elements for us to know where we can act. So the infections follow 4 elements. So the size of the inoculum, in this case the virus, the COVID, the virulence of the exposure. This means how contagious, how virulent is this virus, and in this to aid us in this, we have only the hygienic measures and also, of course, the quarantine, and also the immune response of the host. So we know that there are different people with the different immune responses. We know that some sick people following chemotherapy, people with diabetes, elders, they have an immune response weakened, and the nutritional status and health of the host. So in this last element, we can do something very actively. As always, we should eat very well, very diverse diet. But now in this moment, this is imperative, because this is the way we can protect and build our immune response, so that we are fit, that our immune system is fit. So very briefly, there are many foods for immunity. I outstand few that have a lot of publications proving that they are actually supporting our immune system and are building cells. So the cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, sprouts, Brussels sprouts, kale, they are antiviral and antibacterial agents that they contain these isothiocyanate which enable interferon responsiveness. This is a potent immune system stimulator. And it is very important how you cook them. So raw vegetables or very cooked at very low temperature is very important for them to keep their antioxidant power and the vitamin C content and so on. Then onions and garlic, mushrooms, berries, and the probiotics. Note all this, that there is a lot of pediatric studies made on children, because children are very prone to infections, and children that consume a lot of vegetables show much less infections than children that don't eat vegetables. A little word more about the probiotics that are an interesting factor here, and all these dietetical elements support our immune system, and therefore also help us manage our stress response. We are a whole. Our stress response does not come only from our brain, but comes from everything around us, including our nutritional competence. The word I want to say about the probiotics who have shown loads of positive effects, benefits to us. They have been consumed since ever in history. Every country has their own fermented food where we can find probiotics. You know, in Germany, sauerkraut, in Slovenia too, yogurt in Greece, kimchi in Korea, and so on and so on and so on. So almost everywhere you find the fermented foods. These are foods that since always were used to support our microbiota. And the macrobiota, so the bacteria, the healthy bacteria that live within us, help to shape our immune response. So that is why they are so important. There is also the gut-brain connection that I will not go into here, maybe some other time. But all these are responsible not only for our immune response, but for our mental status. So I give you just here these magnificent 10, so the foods that you cannot skip to support your immune system and to help you shape your stress response. These are the leguminous, so beans and things made with beans, vegetables, the cruciferous vegetables, berries, other fruits, the flax seeds and other seeds, spices and herbs, whole cereals and water and tea. These are the magnificent 10. These you should not skip from your diet every day. So this is an overview just for you to have. If you are not a vegetarian, you also, of course, consume also the fish, eggs, and meat in smaller amounts. Take note that vegetables, whole cereal grains, and beans should be your major food sources. And another directives that you should always follow is eat freshly cooked meals every day as much as you can. Now that you have the opportunity, you are at home, you can. You should breathe. That is the energy of life. That's the most essential thing we intake is air. You should sleep. Never underestimate the power of sleep. There is many studies that show that the immune response, even though you follow an optimal diet and you do not follow a sufficient sleep regime, you have a very weakened immune system. So sleep is very, very important. Note that some anti-inflammatory spices like turmeric and ginger can be a very good aid for your microbiota and for your immune response, as well as vitamin C and zinc. The elderberry extract is a more newly known supplement that you can add to your diet, and it has a very strong antiviral effect. There is some directives that I put here on this part. Hope you see me with this arrow, that you should follow. Maybe you should ask your doctor if you have some condition, if you can do it or not. But in general, if you supplement your diet with fish oil, DHA or EPA, it is very beneficial for your immune response. If you are a vegetarian, you can take alga from the flax seeds and walnuts. You should eat fermented foods. We spoke about this. You should take 10 to 15% of vegetable protein. You know, if you eat the cruciferous and the beans, you are already having it. You should drink plenty of water, green tea, and in the morning, water with lemon juice. It is very important to awaken your enzymes and trigger your digestive system. You should restrict the intake of iron if you eat meat. Supplement with vitamin D. This is very important because now we are mostly indoors and our immune response can simply not happen without it. Eat small meals not to overcharge your digestive system. Move. So the yoga is very important, or whatever you can do. You can just climb up and downstairs. It's very positive. Sleep well and relax your mind. So what happens with situations like this? Entering in panic or feeling the pressure of the information that comes from outside, the demands, you know, you are working from home, you are afraid that your family gets sick, that your close ones are sick, you don't know what's going to happen, the uncertainty. This builds up stress. This stress accumulates over time and leads to a weakened immune system and a weakened immune response. This is known, this is reported for already many years. But these accumulations of stress, feeling stress, is a consequence of not being enough present in the moment. And to help yourself with this, you can use mindfulness and meditation. This is a very powerful tool. For those who find mindfulness and meditation hard or difficult or not practical, you have another tool that is in our hands, that is part of us, that is our daily life, that is us, which is breathing. Breathing is the tool that can help you manage stress so effectively that maybe there is nothing else in our hands that can lead us to a state of meditation and mindfulness in the most effective way. Breathing is special. You can make 3 different exercises. Now you can make it at home. You lay on the floor, on the wood, and you feel your body. You feel the movement of the air entering your mouth and traveling through your lungs. When you feel this movement, you enter in a mindfulness state. You do this for, let's say, 5 minutes, and you enter automatically in a state of meditation, because you start to think, you trigger your brain, you start to think on the rhythm movement of breathing. And what it does, it diverts your thoughts. The other thing is, when you are doing the dishes, washing the dishes, this is perfect because it's an automatic task. You know, you are just doing that, and instead of concentrating on your dishes, you start just to think how you are breathing in and out. We breathe very bad nowadays. We sit a lot on the computer, you know, we are stressed, we are tense, we use maybe 1/3 of our lungs to breathe. We are limiting the capacity not only from our lungs, but our capacity of all our body to act. So when you are breathing, it not only increases your self-conscious, it also oxygenates your brain, clearing your thoughts, and you are observing your experience. So you do not feel trapped in it, you are observing it. I here spoke particularly of forest bathing. Forest bathing is a Japanese term that relates to breathing in the nature in the presence of trees. It has been shown, there is a Japanese doctor that has been studying this for many, many years. And he managed to show that walking in the nature not only reduces your state of anxiety and stress and boosts your immune system, but also invigorates yourself. Every walking in the nature, near the sea, near the trees, has this effect. The forest bathing is very studied. So if you are in a country, and for example, I think all of us that are here present in this moment are in countries where you can access forests, I think this is a very nice exercise you can make when you can go alone by yourself, into a place where you have green, where you have very purified air, because the oxygen is being produced, the CO2 is being consumed by the trees. And you enter in these states of mindfulness and observe your breathing. It has an extremely invigorating effect on you. Also known is that it lowers the stress hormones, the cortisol and the adrenaline. It suppresses the sympathetic system, so the fight-flight response, and it enhances the parasympathetic system, right? the recover response, and it also lowers your blood pressure. So it's very, very, it has enormous effects. It's very underestimated in our culture. But the breathing and breathing in the nature is something that can bring us to the presence with ourselves. That maybe it's what happened here, our response to one another and to ourselves maybe decreased in this world of consumism that somehow we all created, right? So I will show you two basic breathing exercises. One is the wake up breathing. You should do it every day in the morning when you wake up, and it oxygenates immediately your brain, helping you to not only wake up your brain in a healthy way. So it happens this way. So you inhale through your nose with the full lungs. So you will have to open your chest, and when you hold the breath, and when you exhale, you drop your hands on the floor and exhale loudly to the floor. I will do it now. I will stand up because you should be standing to have yours. So if you can, I hope you will see me. So I hope you saw me. Could you see me? Yes. So you fill your lungs. You open your chest, you hold the air inside of your lungs, and you exhale loudly and put all this energy out. When you inhale, you have this energy vital coming in. You feel it, you hold it, and you throw everything out. What is bad with it? It's a very simple exercise. You can do it till 6 times every day in the morning. You open your window or you step into the garden. You are bare feet to feel the ground. It's also a very good exercise to ground yourself. The other one, the 4-7-8 breathing exercise, or the conscious breathing, is a very studied breathing technique. It comes from the yoga practices. It was also very adapted in America by some doctors. It is very used by psychologists to help their clients to manage the anxiety and to sleep better. It really works. Try it a lot. So you should do it 4 repetitions twice a day, but the effects are cumulative. So when you do it for 1 month, you will definitely see the effects. It's very effective when you wake up during the night. You know, when you wake up during the night and you cannot sleep back. Do this and you will see it is very impressive. So it consists of 4 seconds inhaling through the nose, 7 seconds you hold your air in your lungs, and 8 seconds you exhale loudly. And you could see it in this. So I will do it. Let's do it together. Can you feel it? Can you see this? You just do this every day. You will see that when you are stressed, when someone calls you and you are very stressed, you go to the toilet and you do this. It instantly calms you down because the cortisol levels drop and you cannot, your system is not under stress. It's a chemical, it's a biochemical response. I think you have many tools. The breathing tool to manage your stress is by far the most simple and the strongest. If you breathe and envision positive thoughts, things that are positive to you, images that bring you positivity, its potential, it is even stronger. Have around yourself, of course, positive people, positive. It is, you know, it's intuitive. But have in mind to break the cycles of negativity, that there is many tools to us to share information with others when we know it, to trust experts. It is very important. You cannot trust every information. You know, it's panicking is very serious to take into such an important situation as it is now. Panicking is completely counterproducent. And adapt, because information are changing, and changes are also growing very quickly. So adapt, be calm, use your ancient wisdom, use it, connect to yourself, reflect, go into yourself. Bring up the human values. This is maybe something, I think this is the big opportunity we have now to show solidarity, to show who we are. We are, you know, we have countries have borders, but we are a human race, and human race has no borders, you know, and this has to come up, right? And I think it started to come up when, for example, Chinese came to help Italians. You know, in Italy, we have a really hard situation. It's being hard to manage the spreading. Pause, and breathe. This is so powerful. You know, maybe we are too fast. You know, and pausing. I think this is essential. Our nature needs it, and that is why we have also stress. Our stress responses, because we are not pausing and we are not breathing neither. I have something here. Sorry. This I wrote down not to forget to mention, so that these times will make us definitely think what is essential and non-essential. You know, we don't go to shop anymore so much. We are not having parties in that sense. What is essential and what is not essential? Maybe we can rethink all of that now. It's an opportunity for that. Of course, also to get in touch with nature and with our nature. Maybe we forgot this. This is, I mean, we are just human. We are an animal. You know, maybe we forgot about that. The unconscious world, we can maybe take aware about the unconscious world that is. So our unconscious world inside of us, the unseen microorganisms that live inside of us and they are part of us. So already here, we are not alone. Bacteria are part of us. 6 kilos. We had 6 kilos of bacteria inside of us, and they are helping us. You know, they are actually producing vitamin B12, without which our nervous system does not function. There are also unseen beings in the nature, these viruses that appear. You know, it's an unseen that maybe we are not so aware. Maybe microbiologists, and I know I'm a biochemist, maybe we are aware, but you know, we should be all aware. These beings are part of us, and they are here with us, co-living with us. So this call for the strong international cooperation, I think this is we need this so much. This we just before we're talking with Ingun, this is probably, you know, that is a solution. That is a solution to all of this. So, and ultimately the health must be available to all. You know, it is not. You know, maybe in Europe we really have quite a positive health system that is otherwise not responding to refugees, but I think here there is a lot to be done, and maybe this is the opportunity to do it, you know, because this is not because of lack of money, you know. This is something can be done, so leaders should be called out to do something here. And here I put our fellow living beings, these penguins, you know, we can learn something very invaluable with them. You know how they live, you know, they live in the you know, very harsh conditions in Arctica and in Antarctica also. And how do they live in community? Otherwise they could not survive. So they are all together. The stronger and the fatter ones are outside, protecting the weaker ones inside from the cold. When those are already overwhelmed, they just go inside to heat up again, and the others come out. So they work in collaboration, and it works, and they can survive in such a hard situation. This is an example of that's how we can function. That's how we should function when it appears situations like this. So this is what I had to tell you. Please, if we can open a bit of discussion about this. Ingun, what do you think?
Yes, well, thank you, Gabriela. It was amazing. I love this. So a lot of information, and there is already enough. There's a lot that we can do, and you know, I can understand that not everyone can go to a pharmacist, or you know, to buy their vitamin whatever and their omegas, and you know, luckily I have everything here stored in my that was the first thing I went to get my omegas and my vitamin C's and my, you know, because I know it's very important, but it's not easy for each and everyone to do so. So it's but with food, yes, I do believe we can already do a lot. Yes. Anyone, maybe you can stop share your screen. I love the penguins, but then we can see each other.
How do I do that?
Just stop share.
Stop share. Stop share. Sorry. Okay.
Yes. And then we can see all of us. So I see that Ruby has arrived, and Tabello. So are there any questions?
Or comments?
Or comments.
Yeah.
Ruby.
Thank you. Thank you, Gabriela. That was beautiful. I needed it. I mean, between clients, supposedly they're still clients, but I'm getting so many declines that, you know, where we get through, it's not just ups and downs. I think I'm in the loop, and usually I am able to help people. But then, what do you do with your clients on the thinking? I mean, I do a lot of with mindset, but then now it's even more important to do it fast and to have these exercises that you shared. It's like, that's us breathing. But then it's so frequent now how we are back in these loops, right? So how do you do it for yourself in these times? Having so many roles, 3 children, 3 businesses or gigs, but then also with people that you work now, because you work with them going through challenging times when it's not the virus and it's not bankruptcy on their head. But what do you do now that is maybe faster, shortcuts or whatever?
Okay, so I'm also not meeting anybody, right? I'm in quarantine, and I'm also not meeting anybody online. Okay. You know, we gave a pause. We made a pause, but we listen on the phone. We hear each other on the phone every time they need support. What I do for myself, I do the breathing, and I just decided to calm down. You know, there is things that are not on my control, and I cannot do anything about them. And I decided to do that. I cannot do anything about that. So I sit and I cook and I breathe. And, you know, there's, of course, there is all these financial issues attached to all these things, you know. You have to calm yourself down because sometimes you just cannot control this. It's something that when you enter in contact with yourself, you can manage. You know, no one can give you that. And to my clients, that's what I do. You know, you have to enter in contact with yourself. This is a must. But when you are in challenging times, you know, now we are all together in this challenge time. But for example, my clients are normally in very challenging times when everybody else is okay. You know, it's their decision. You know, you have to know it's always your decision what you are going to do. This is the first. I can help you. I can tell you how can you help yourself, but this is not enough. You have to want and you have to do it yourself. And when you want, there is nothing more powerful than that. You know, you just have to get into there. You have to get there. And sometimes when if you just need to distance yourself, or that is then the answer to that situation. I mean, it's not easy. Not everybody is able to do it. Not all the time. It's your role to support them to achieve that. Eh? Fortunately, when they want so much, they will come back to you. They will come back to you and ask, how can I do this? Or how, look, I'm not succeeding. You know, I have many people with, so mindset is very important. Eh? So, and they cannot deal with this trauma that it brings. You know, for example, chemotherapy is very it's traumatizing. It's for most people that I know, it is very traumatizing therapy. But they, at some stage, they know that if they are the ones who can do something to themselves. You know, it's not like you are a coach, you can help. You can help. You are there for them all the time, but it's their decision. It's their act. They will be the ones to breathe. They will be the ones to search inside of themselves. They will be the ones to search what is, you know, you just can have the tools. So that's how I'm doing. But I think it's very important in this moment to also to learn how to let go. Sometimes you just cannot, you know, it's like, you know, now we are not there are no events, personal events. For example, I leave a lot of personal contact. You know, it's you saw I'm really horrible with computers. I couldn't, you know. And it's I leave a personal contact, they cannot happen. So I said I was overwhelmed because there's so many people that I have in this moment needing my help. And what I mean, you know, we hear each other, and you can give guidelines and you can support, and fortunately they will achieve that.
Mm-hmm.
That is,
it is this crazy thing, and it's especially women, that we want to solve everyone's problems, we want to solve everything. But right now, you know, it's not like going back to your ego, but that's the self-care thing. You know, you really have to be aware of who you are, and you have to take care of yourself as well. And you know, I can imagine that if you are, you know, you have to look after your own, you know, you haven't started your company, you know, it's not that long that you're working as a consultant or coach. And then clients are, you know, are calling that they, you know, that they stop the treatments and things like that. That is very overwhelming, but still, you know, ground, let go, take care of yourself. Again, it is going back to who you are and what you can do. And what I have seen, because of course, what we see worldwide happening now, and believe me, if my phone is, you know, with all these countries that we are involved in, you see all these things and they get all these messages, and not just in the global team app, but people just want to share their story. And that is okay, because they need to share their story. But I also need time for me to just have that moment and not, you know, and we are still able to go outside, you know, and I know in several countries that's not the situation. We stay inside as much as possible. But like, for instance, yesterday morning, I just went to the beach at 7:30, so I knew that there was no one there, you know, that I needed, for me, you know, someone else needs a tree, and I like that as well. But for me, it is the beach. It is that, you know, that openness, that clear sky, that, you know, that really gives me the energy to you know, go back to work again. Because yesterday on Sunday, I think I've been working for 9 hours. My husband really got fed up with me, but that's okay. You know, this is what we're asking, what the time is asking for. But take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. And of course, be there for others. And think of your future. You know, I do believe that is so important right now. This can take a year, it can take 2 weeks, but there is going to be an end to it. And I believe, strongly believe, that what comes after this is going to be better, and that we have a choice now to contribute of what it is going to be. We have to decide right now what role we have to play. And that is also going to give you energy, because the world right now looks like a mess. But the world, how it is going to be, and that is something I have to tell myself as well, right? There is going to be a better world for my children and for my grandchildren. But I have to tell it, and I have to be busy organizing that, you know, that we are in a couple of years that the world is going to look like right now, because the things that are happening right now so overwhelming that we have to put our minds to what is it going to be. Yes, we have to go through this right now, because otherwise nothing will change. We have to go through this. But what am I going to do? What am I going to contribute in that new world? And that's very important as well, to keep your spirit high.
Yes.
Tanya?
Yeah, this needs to be with you. It's not, I mean, I'm too much. It's really changing, I think. And I think I'm rethinking how to actually be of service. And I agree what you both said. In a way, to step back, people still need you. They just respond really, I need to hold myself and cannot afford anything. But then still how to go back to them halfway, meet them where they are, and serve from what they need. How it's going on is just, it's so frequent. It's during the day, it happens several times.
The line is not
opening
really
up and
very strong.
Keep it together in a way to render also that part. Because I think if we're state, we are more present and open to be there where and how we are needed. So yeah, I hear you. It's just, I think it's just everyone's different experience now. And if it's different for us, dealing with this although it's challenging time, we know many tools how to cope with it, how it must be for people and communities, because it just builds up being together, formed, frightened, and how help. That's mainly my challenge.
Yeah, the line was not very good, so she disappeared. There she is again. The line is not very good, Tanya, so it disappeared. You know, and I'm going to give the word back to Gabriela, because she's the expert in all these things. We're not there yet. We are just at the beginning.
Yes, I also think so.
And we have to be the strongest. And that asks a lot from you, that asks a lot from each and every one of us. But yesterday morning, the messages about the earthquake in where, I don't know, it was in Zagreb.
Zagreb, yes.
The earthquake in Zagreb, and the pictures, and you know, people just running in the street, and you know, they have to be in quarantine, they have to not meet anyone, and there's this earthquake. But you have to deal with that as well, you know, and there will be more. Step back, breathe, oversee what is going on, and that's hard, and take the lead. And take the lead, it can be over your own life, or your family's. And you know, how big or how small, but it can get worse.
Yes, and this also might not be the, I mean, it will definitely not be the last pandemics, right? You know, we had Ebola, we had Zika, we had other challenges. So you have to prepare yourself, you know, but we are humans, we are here, we are part of nature. So we are here to be, I think, being in collaboration with each other, being aware and help each other is the only solution for us. So that is also why we survived till now, you know. But now, you know, somehow there was a shift of values, a shift of, you know, maybe the consumism shaped the whole thing, you know. It is also part of our nature to want more, right? Somehow we diverted this to the wrong path, and we wanted more of something that is maybe easier to achieve, right? Because, you know, it is not that easy to be with yourself and to go into yourself and search there. This is a hard path. This puts your ego into the stake. Maybe this is meditation. Meditation, I think it is an answer. The values, the being together, to find community. This is why I loved so much this your initiative. You know, I joined the Female Wave of Change now. I mean, 1 month ago, maybe not even when we were already going into this situation, right? But this is a complete must. This is this organization and women taking somehow the lead. You know, women showing how to do things in another way. You know, there should have been balance all history, but there was no. You know, somehow the strongest, the physical stronger, took the lead at some stage, right? At some stage, it is. I think it's a hard situation. It's uncertain, but it is a really good opportunity to put all these at stake, to do something about this, and go forward. So this is beautiful. This is also beautiful.
And it's also the time to be creative, to be very creative, you know. And I think we're still, and that was a discussion we had yesterday as well, we're still talking too much about, you know, how we can, you know, go into ourselves and, you know, and relax and whatever, you know, to fight the stress. But what if you could open up your mind and really be creative in what you see happening right now and figure out a way, for instance, and you know, we had this thing on television this weekend. We are all out of the masks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is an issue, you know. And I saw that here, one of the hospitals in the Netherlands, they opened up the complete department, and they beds out, sewing machines in, and they are now making their own masks. But there's also a company here that makes very luxurious bras, maybe a strange story, but women who have the ability to make bras, they can make very high quality masks. So they changed, a whole department was changed into making masks. You know, think, listen to what you hear and what you see people do and what is needed right now. And you might be, you know, a couple of days from now on the next big thing, on one, solving an issue that we're dealing with right now, but also on what is needed in the future. So think creative as well, not just like, okay, I am a coach and this is what I do. No, you're a very well developed human being. You have a background that is enormous. You are an authentic feminine leader, all of you who are in this call. And you can be the next one who takes control and is going to organize all kinds of things that we are in need of right now. So think creative. that you are a
Yes.
coach, but maybe in a month time you're leading a big factory who's making masks or whatever. Think of something, you know. It's but that is also something that we need to be very much aware of. We are not only the coach, we are
Exactly.
not only the trainer, we are not only the consultant, or you know, or the teacher or whatever. We are authentic feminine leaders, and we are very well developed, we are very well trained, we have we're very wise women. And
Yes, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, this is it. But the creativity will born not of the stress. You know, it might start with some stress, but you control it, and the creativity will come out. And of course, look, I made my PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology. I was a researcher for 15 years. At some stage, you develop from there. First, you follow your dreams, of course. Then you adapt. You have to adapt to all sorts of situations. I'm also an immigrant in Slovenia, right? I'm Portuguese. I have 3 children, you know. So it's like there is a broad. I could do, look, doing a PhD. You know, it means at some point that you are very narrow. Uh, um, you are focused on one single thing. So you cannot do anything else. I can do research. That's how I thought. 10 years, 15 years ago, I thought I'm a researcher. I cannot do anything else. I don't know how to do anything outside the lab. But you can go. You have to go from that on. You have to follow your head, your heart, your soul. We are spiritual beings. We also have to follow that. We cannot forget that. Very good.
And I just wanted to add one thing here. As Ingun rightly said, we need to take self-care. And sometimes, you know, stress we all know is not good. But sometimes when we take positive stress, which I tell all my students, that might, you know, make you work better. Because as a professor, you know, I always tell my students, if you don't have stress, you can't do anything. You have to have that positive stress, because that's a functional. That's like more of a, I would say that the functional stress that makes you work for some things. Because there are some people, unless they don't feel that, you know, like something is bickering them all the time, they don't do. But if you feel, oh, I can do it, I know how to do it. You know, you when you don't fear anything, or when something is not bothering you anytime, some people take it for granted that I can do. So I think it's our state of mind. It's how we think about a situation. So like right now, I mean, just to add on, I am a speaker, you know, but at home I'm a mother. And I never let that bother my children in saying that she's this, she's that. Sometimes my son says, you know, when I'm answering my friends or people who see my tutorials, so he tells me, you don't have to answer everyone, you know, you just say thank you, that's it, because it wastes a lot of time. And I was like, okay, that's a very smart observation for a 12-year-old. And he said, you should not waste time all the time, you should do something more constructive. So I mean, imagine just a small kid and telling like this. So during this period, like since last 1 week that my kids have been home because there's no school, the school is still you know, just sending them homeworks and assignment for the week, and they're working on it. So I told them, why do you feel that you're bored? You know, because my son said, can I go and play? Can I go out with my friend cycling? So I said, no, it's not a regular holiday. You know, it's something that we have to keep distance. So I was explaining him the concept of social distancing, but he was like, I don't like it. It's not something good. We have to be social. So then I said, you know, in a very funny way, just to elaborate in a different context, don't you sometimes always feel, I wish I had nothing to do. I was just sitting, reading a book, drinking coffee, drinking cocktails, you know, just enjoying, just my time. So then he said, oh, yes. I said, see, when you're studying, when you're in school, you always think, you always feel that. Yeah. So it's the same as now. This is my time, you know. Think of this time as your time and try to develop whatever things, like you want to pray, you want to study, you want to read comics, whatever. So he said, I said, and that's social distances and self-care. You're taking care of yourself as well as distancing from your friends. You are not thinking about play dates. You're not thinking about any other thing. And he was so happy. He immediately wrote the message that I told him to his friends. Mm-hmm. Imagine the power. These are techno kids.
Yeah.
The power. Same thing which was stressing them, or I would say boring. It's so boring to stay at home, getting angry. The kids show their frustration by getting angry, showing tantrums. And it changed completely. He sent it to all his friends. And then he wrote, "Note from my mother." So we all can do our bits, we all can do our bits, but it's just how we take the stress. It's just a state of mind. Either it can be negative stress or a positive stress, as Gabriela just said. Like, it's just a state of mind. The more you stress about corona or COVID and stuff like that, it's going to make you feel low. But if you think it's the time that I need to do something different, like if you see the canals in Italy are cleaner now, I was seeing all the positive effects of corona. And I'm going to make a video soon about it. I'm going to talk about it soon. And then I'll share with all of you that what are the positive effects. Pollution in India, the level of pollution has gone down. People are becoming more close, spending more time with their families. It's a beautiful situation if you look at the positive aspects as well. We are spending more time with our families. The things that we would all just talk in the videos or in the seminars, we are practicing it. So basically, it's again going back to the roots, not just theory, but see the positive aspect instead of complaining, instead of always saying this is not happening, that is not happening. See the repercussions, see the positive side of what is happening. And then the stress will disappear. The negative stress will disappear. The positive stress, it's important to be there all the time.
Yeah.
So that was my intake, because I am a believer that there has to be a bit of stress to keep you going.
Yes, but this positive stress, it is not really a stress, right? Because it is not lowering your immune system.
Exactly.
It is not bringing you down. So that is actually a stimulation, right? This is your eagerness to do something. This is your head finding, noticing the problem and wanting to solve it, right? So this is of course, this is very positive. Stress, the negative stress, what is stress? It is bad because it lowers your wish of doing something. It lowers your capacity to respond to your environment, to your tasks, to everything. Ultimately, it drags you into anxiety and into depression states also. So those are the ones to fight, of course. Nowadays, I see it as you, right? There is a lot of positive things also going on, of course. And this is the thing that you can go into yourself and spend time with your close ones, and teach them so many things, because they are going to learn through your example now. So what you will be doing and how you will be acting as a response to this situation, that will be a life lesson for them, right? This is, it's the first time I go through such a pandemic, for example.
True.
It's the first time, and it's the first time for them to maybe on this level it will be the only time, right? I think, this is very powerful. Yes.
Ladies, it's Tibello. Can I just ask something? My sister-in-law and I are struggling to help my brother because. And I think it's fear in him. He's got one or two small businesses that, he's running. We're not yet on a lockdown in South Africa. But his wife sent me a message yesterday about him going out to a small wedding, which, I kind of said to him, he shouldn't have done that. But it's when she sent me a comment that he doesn't take this thing serious, that, I said to her, I think he's in fear, but being a man, he's not going to admit, what is happening. So my question is, when you have family members who, that you tell them about this disease, you send them messages, you try and advise them, to stick to social distancing, but you start feeling that there's more to it, because I was also thinking, I think he's wondering, how is he going to spend time as a man in a house with 5 women, because there's my sister-in-law, her sister, and their 3 daughters, you know, and I'm wondering if it's not maybe something that's bugging him. He's not used to spending time with them, and now he's almost going to be forced to spend that time with them. So how do you deal or advise somebody that you start realizing that it's not that they don't want to listen, but maybe there's something else that's happening in them?
Yeah, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. Look, we at my home, we were just women. But my father loved to be around women. And he always said that the best thing is to have women around. Because you can be so constructive, you can collaborate with them, nothing is never really bad, and so on. But I understand what you're saying, and I'm sure that this is not the only case. At first, there is many people in denial. So I see, for example, here in Slovenia, on the streets, there is lots of people. There is here next to me, like 6 men that sit on the sun every day, but like for 2 hours. You know, they are all together. I mean, they didn't get
next to each other.
Next to each other. They are sitting there next to each other. So they are in denial because they don't want the information is completely, it's spread. So they know that they shouldn't be doing like this, right? So they are definitely in denial. It is, I think, but it is of course an effort that someone sits with him and explains him how does it work, the spreading of a virus, and what is the effect of it. When you face the things logically, you know, it's not someone saying that this is danger, but someone that really explains him, go through a video from from the World Health Organization, and explain what can happen. You know, of course, this virus affects mostly the people who have an immune system that is compromised, the elderly, etc. But there have been cases of very healthy people that are quite striking. You know, it is not a rule that is just affects the elderly, the immune compromised, right? So when he understands how this can affect, you know, there is the influenza, the flu, who kills lots of people every year, more than the coronavirus, right? But the coronavirus is a new virus, which is not completely known. The incubation time is not completely known yet. So if this is, you present him with a movie, someone sit with him and explain him and show him and communicate with him and explain how does this go, how does the spread go, and how does his act of going out and being with other people can affect other people, you know, because every life matters, right? So it's, and that is why we are doing quarantine, you know, because there is many people with a great immune system and that are very confident and I don't know, and go out and you know, you can transport it, you can be a carrier, and you have no symptoms whatsoever, you know, but you might be very healthy and have at the moment a very compromised immune system for some reason. You know, for example, the stress is a great shaper of an immune response in a healthy person. You know, it might be everything fine, but you know, so maybe someone that presents him this, sits with him and presents. Being with so many women, you know, it's, I think he can learn so much. It's so nice, you know, this this environment, you know, of cheerfulness, you know, because in general houses where with many women are much more cheerful.
Yeah, but there is ego as well. There's this masculinity, and that is tough, you know. If there are so many women around, what might help is to sit down and talk how you're also going to share roles within that situation, within that family, in that household, that you give him some very special tasks to do and not just water the plants, or, you know, now also he may have time to do things that haven't been done for the last 5 years. So that might be, you know, that he has his things to do, but also really try talking about it. His future, his two small companies, he might be worried about about what is going to happen with those businesses, and how ask him how you can support him to get that up and rolling again, so that you are aware and share the worries that he has. He probably has his worries, but there is this very masculine ego that prevents him from really stepping in. And as long as he doesn't have his tasks, his specific things to do, as long as he doesn't really realize that he can ask for your help, he's also not going to enjoy this very feminine, vibrant environment that he is in, because he is the man and he should be the one taking care of his family. And right now he cannot. And he's fleeing, he flees, he's running out of the house to go somewhere, maybe not even very important, but he's definitely, he's lost. I think he's lost. So you have to get him back on track and show that you see him, that you hear him, that you understand what is going on, and that's, you have to go through this together. Maybe that might be a solution, but if someone else has something, then please step in. It is for all of us, it's new for all of us. So we're all trying, and that you can tell as well. We are all trying to figure out how to get through this situation. So he can be vulnerable as well. That's a difficult word for a lot of men, but he can be vulnerable. And his wife and his sister-in-law and his sister, they don't mind him to be vulnerable. It is a situation that you don't know how to handle it. They don't know, and he doesn't know.
I can also relate to this. We have also a situation in family where a family member is in denial. And the main problem that I see is that he wants to do things the old way, keeping sports practice, and pressuring on my son. And I think this is, it's a difficult situation because there is a lot of unneeded stress caused with this, but I'm trying to talking doesn't help, because there is a a feeling of superiority of a man behind it, and that's a really difficult energy to cope with, because it takes human humility is not something that is known in this kind of situations. So what I'm trying to do is trying to take care for myself and my level of energy, and with this hoping to influence on my son and make a positive wave, and learn him that he must not just follow the lead of a masculine energy, but also look around himself and connect to the world and situations that are happening, because things change all the time, and you can't go like a bull through the wall and I will do it like this. You have to adapt. And I think this is crucial, because it doesn't always help that you talk with someone. It doesn't even help now when media is full of we have also prohibitions of moving and grouping people that come together. You can't do that now, but some people just until it cracks them, until the disease comes to their really middle. That is the only thing that can shock them, I think. So what I'm counting on and trying to do is build my own strength, and also influence on my son with this role modeling.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to thank you all for this, the Zoom call and workshop. It's really inspiring. I wanted to say that first, but I fell into the topic which we had. So I really enjoy having this conversation with you, everyone.
Good. Thank you, Claudia. It was great to have you here. Gabriela, we have to watch the time. Is there anything that you want to say to end this?
Yes, I want to emphasize just that taking care of ourselves and of our inner life, to reflect on what is happening, is maybe the best thing to influence our family members to do the same. Do well. By doing well, you are giving a big lesson to everybody around you, right? Because you do not fall into stress because you do this, that, and that. You take care of yourself, you take care for the others, and you take action. You take action. Don't stop moving. It is very important. So, for example, if you really don't go out from home, going up and down stairs, it is great. Do meditation, do your stretching exercises, yoga, sleep well. Don't lose yourself. Don't take always good care of yourself, because without that you cannot do the rest, right? So, and use breathing to manage your harder situations when you feel you are losing your mind out of something. You know, we don't know. Now it was said 2 weeks. We already said in the university that we will not work for 4 weeks. Schools will be closed 6 weeks. You know, it is uncertain. We don't know so much. Yes. So to manage this, just keep going and keep doing things, keep doing work, invent, create. Yes, move yourself and pause. Look to yourself, feel yourself, connect to the nature, connect to yourself. Thank you very much for being together today. It was very nice.
But thank you very much, Gabriela. It was very inspiring, and I loved what happened afterwards. That's the dialogue and, you know, exchanging ideas. That is so powerful. Keep in touch. That is very important. You know, don't try to figure out everything on your own, because we're all here for you, and your family's there. You're in your community, so do get in touch, even if you have to stay at home. There's a world of people out there in the same situation.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gabby. It was great.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Wonderful.